I'm serious, John. Pick yourself or him. Someone's got to
Okay.
go.
All
Can't
right.
afford another guy on the set.
Okay. He's gone.
It's gone.
He's gone.
It's
He's
gone.
Well, maybe, if he cleans up his image, he can come back and he acts
There.
respectful,
Goodbye.
respectful
See
to
you,
our
moron.
audience. He can come back. We'll see him again, I'm sure.
Primarily critical.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Primarily Critical of Movies and After Party. This would be it.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy, I don't have my notes, man. Oops.
If you've not seen, go ahead. I'm cueing you. If you have not,
If you have not seen this movie, we suggest that you. I don't even remember the line. That's not my line. Is it my line?
do
Ouch.
so
Do so before listening any further.
Yes.
because we got spoilers, trivias. That's horrible. We have spoilers, trivia, and opinions like crazy, and we cannot wait to share them.
Good, bad, new, weird, old, or gross.
We pass judgment on them all.
Today, a well-made game could be the equalizer that we all need. My name is Steve. I'm here with
Phil. Hi.
Hi.
And John?
Hi, John.
Hi, Phil. Steve.
Hi, John. Hi, Steve.
Hi, guys.
Today we're talking about 42.
Yes.
And Phil picked this, and
Yeah.
it's about Jackie Robinson, right?
Sacred number in baseball, man.
Yeah, it's actually retired. Nobody's allowed to use that number in baseball.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. But it's, that's a big deal in the sporting world. And very important person in the sporting world, period. First black pro baseball player, but it opened up the door to, well, the inevitable, so.
Yeah, well, we could go a little further, not just baseball. Wouldn't that be the first black pro athlete like that in a commercial sense when you talk pro, right? Like when
there's black athletes on the world stage like Jesse Owens. He ran track for the
Olympics, right?
And there's also black boxers, but I mean, this was the first.
This is privately owned sporting teams, right? I think this would be the first privately owned business where they decided to take that chance marketing.
Yeah. Well, as we see in the movie depicted, the actor Harrison Ford plays Ranch Ricky. He goes out on a huge limb to sign this player and get him into their franchise, right?
Yeah.
At huge risk, right?
Well, he does it for two things. One, he loves baseball, and he feels like not including a specific race is not fair.
And he gives reference to a story that really bothered him back in the day when he saw a guy that was
It's like baseball is normally fair, as fair as we can make it all the way across the board, and then suddenly there's this thing, and it's tainting his baseball experience,
his vision for baseball. Yeah.
And he keeps stressing, I want to win. I want to be a winning team, right? And he sees Jackie, as that piece of the puzzle maybe, but he goes to extremely difficult. He takes on a lot of stress, and there's that one scene in the movie where he shows all the fan hate mail. I mean, we're dealing with really deep racial hatred, and this blew people's minds, right?
There was some early references though that he was also thinking marketing too. Like there was he made some stuff that he thought this could be, so maybe the controversy surrounding it, the media surrounding it, like early on I couldn't quite figure out what his angle was.
Oh yeah, it's not.
And initially I had pegged him that this is just, he's not really doing it for any other reason than he thinks this is a good marketing plan that's going to make him a lot of money. Yeah, a good business decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But-
you could add that in there as a possible motivation as well, right? I mean, you
Yep.
say risk, your risk, but also you're right. It was a risk, but he also thought it could pay off in a big way too. You know,
Good. You can get what they say, asses in seats.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he says that throughout the movie, and at later on in the movie, he reveals a more personal reason, why he wanted to, be the guy, I guess, that helps get the first black player in history, because it wouldn't have really happened until he did it, I suppose, right? Someone had to be the
Yeah.
first.
Well, yes, somebody would have done it.
Someone had to,
Yeah.
and he says in the movie, eventually, you can't stop this; it's going to happen. And why not be the first guy to get in on the, get a really good baseball player? And if you care about winning, well, why wouldn't you? And
Yeah.
but obviously, his teammates, some of them are not happy about it, right? And they show scenes where a couple of players are getting petitions signed internally on the team, and yeah,
it's hard to imagine that, right? Like it's hard to imagine like that would have been commonplace where people were actually that phobic, like afraid of this, like oh my god, he's black, this is going to ruin my life because he's on my team, like unbelievable, but
It's crazy.
that shit actually happened.
it did, and it's very recent, right? Like
yeah, it's
1947.
not even that far. Yeah, that's like
and as I think
wow,
they say in the movie, and they talk about like these men and women, the men went off to fight World War II, and they come home to segregation, and they're told you can't play baseball on a you have your own league, you have your own bathrooms, you have your own.
Ridiculous. Yeah, and you
terrible.
Risked your life. Many of them died, gave their life for that country, and that's what you come back to. Unfriggin' believable, right? It's just
it wasn't clear to me. I guess he was the first non-white baseball player, because obviously in today's baseball, a huge chunk of baseball is international now. So he must have been the icebreaker for baseball, and the pressure on him to as they depict in the movie, to not crack and not fight back and not give them any fuel to add to the racist fire.
Yeah,
is depicted in that one scene where the
Philadelphia coach is just
the manager is like openly calling him the N-word for like berating him for the whole game.
Yeah,
and he has to stand there and you've been on baseball fields, they're right in your ear basically.
Yeah.
And nobody's, eventually one of his players comes to his defense a bit, and not even the manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers gets up. They're all upset about it, but everybody's in fear of like backing somebody. And
but I liked.
That was a tough scene, of course.
It was a tough scene, but I really liked what Harrison Ford, Branch Rickey said about that. He said, "This is you've now created sympathy, and it's true. I mean, people, as soon as they saw this asshole manager act like that, suddenly you're gonna like. It's kind of like you can hate your brother. You can fight with your brother every day until you see somebody picking on your brother, right? Then suddenly it's like, hey, that's my brother, man. Like, stay away from him, right? It reminded me of that. It's like, they're a team, but they're all kind of looking at him like he's not really one of us, right? Until this dickwad comes up there and starts like berating him like that.
Yeah.
Then, and the fans would probably feel the same way. The fans of the Brooklyn Dodgers they're like, he's on our team, but he's not really one of our team, But then you see this asshole come out and do that. Suddenly you're like, no, he's one of us. Like, fuck off, pal. Like, don't call one of our guys like that, Yeah. And so, I agree with Harrison Ford's take, or Branch Rickey's take on that. That was perfect. That was a good thing that happened there. An asshole. So, it sucked. It was horrible to hear him say that, but I think he did a lot of good in the big picture. Not that he intended to, but in the big picture, he did.
Well, think of the pressure on him to perform and not suck at playing baseball. He makes it to the major leagues. If he would have sucked and got cut from the team, everybody would have said at the time, "Oh, I told you that's how
Yeah.
they're inferior or
They
whatever."
They didn't grab him at random. I mean, they had already done the legwork and collected up a bunch of applicants, right?
Yep.
And this guy had the good numbers.
He had the right stuff.
And
He had to be the right character too, right?
He had what it took, right?
Yeah, he had to be tough emotionally, and wow. And that was his rookie season. He went on to be rookie of the year in that season.
Yeah.
And he went on to have a great career, right? And he opened the door. And now it's like, absolutely, like, why did they wait so long? Think of all the great baseball players, or any sports for that matter, who didn't get their due because of the stupid racist attitudes back in the day.
I know. I mean, I think about one of the best. I'm not even a big baseball fan, but the best moments of my life was watching Joe Carter hit the home run there for the Blue Jays. I mean, in the World Series, unbelievable moment. And we wouldn't have had that. We wouldn't have had that moment. This is the history that led to that moment that we all recognize now as commonplace.
Yeah, it's shameful that people are still around that can remember that time. There's still people alive that can say, yeah, I remember a time when Jackie Robinson came into the baseball for the first time. And then
it seems so barbaric. It seems this should be like a few hundred years ago, but it's just amazing.
It was right there.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder what we will be looking back at we're doing right now.
Wrong right now.
You know what it is? I already know what it is, Steve. It's our treatment of animals. One day we'll be looking back at I can't believe we treated the animals the way we do treat them today. Animal rights, man, they're the next thing.
It's possible. It's possible. Did you guys?
It's already happening, but yeah. You mean as a bigger international?
As a big thing, we're all shamed as humans, Yeah.
Sure.
John, we covered a movie called Death at a Funeral.
Yes.
With Sean McGinty. Do you remember that? Kind of, sort of.
Was it which version of Death at a Funeral? The British one or the American one?
British one.
British. Yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Did you? Do you remember Alan Tudyk?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was the Philadelphia manager here. Yeah.
He was the Philadelphia manager, spewing nastiness at.
He plays the most vile of the vile in the movie.
He does a good job. You just hate him. You hate him.
And there's that scene.
Great.
We got to talk about Chadwick Boseman and his acting in there. There's that scene where he has to stand for photo op with him. And it's like, we'll just hold the bat. I want to touch you. And it's mutual.
It's mutual. I hate you so much. I don't want to touch you.
But both were told you got to do this for baseball or whatever.
Yeah.
And throughout the movie, there's that scene where one of the team members, he's going back to Kansas and he's worried about how his family and friends are going to think about him playing on a team with a black player. And there's that scene where he puts his arm around him right in the stadium for
that scene.
Good long time, and he's like, this is acknowledging to all my family and racist friends that are backwater. Hey, this is how I am. This is who I am.
Yeah,
love that scene.
Yeah, it was a powerful scene.
Yeah, and that's how that shit always changes. Is the people that just aren't afraid to stand up in front of their own peer groups and face all that ridicule.
Yeah,
and that's how we need more people on the earth like that for sure. And change.
Well, it's not easy to do, but it's gotta happen. I mean,
and he's even he's even still a proud Southerner, and he alludes to that, right? But we would have won that war anyway. But anyway, he just puts his arm around him, and then that's all it took for the whole crowd to just kind of sort of shut up.
I think people just are ignorant of the facts about histories of people around the whole world. And when they finally just see people in live and meet them at a baseball game, at a sporting event, they say, well, yeah, he's just a great guy and he plays on our team. And I'm proud to have this guy around. He's awesome. And he had to be an exceptionally good baseball player to prove to people he's not, he deserves to be on this team. Yeah. And how did you guys like Chadwick Boseman? You know, this was his
I thought he did great. Yeah.
breakout role, I believe. This is what put him on the map. I don't know that he had a lot. I would think he's the star of the movie, but Harrison Ford's a big chunk of it too, right? And they both played well off of each other. They share a lot of great scenes. And
Yeah, well, I thought he did phenomenal. I couldn't. There's no moment I thought he took me out of it because he wasn't playing a part. He did great.
I think in all movies, sports movies, music, biopics. My cat's losing his mind in the background.
It's okay.
Anyways, you got to believe that this guy is a baseball player, or you got to believe this guy is a drummer. Like, and I believe Chadwick had it right. He's playing the role of a guy that's a legend. Tough gig, and you had to.
It's a lot of pressure.
Had to swing the bat like him. You had to run the bases like him, and I thought it was a great sport movie in that respect, right? Like, like I love those kind of movies when they really get it right. They look real. You know, like there's crappy boxing movies where you don't believe the boxing. Rocky.
Yeah, no.
Some of it. Yeah. By Rocky 5, it was horrible. It was like terrible. So yeah, I love those era movies too. The history of it, and it was a nice movie. I mean,
it was. I mean, it's there's obviously it's a hard part of history, you know, and it sucks that you just. So it's a difficult movie in that aspect, but it's a great movie because it shows the change. You literally watching change happen in masses throughout this movie. You know, you see the change. I love the scene where he says, "I watched a white kid pretending and wanting to be." You know, I thought I thought that was so good that they put that in there. And I also there was one kid's scene that I thought was powerful, and then the other one was there's the dad sitting there yelling, using the N-word, yelling at them. And then you see the kid watching his dad. Yeah. And next he starts saying the same thing, you know? And then, you know, I'm glad they put that in there because it just showed, you know, ignorance gets passed down, you know, and this is how this shit happens, you know? And it's,
and we take for granted how powerful. I know some people poo-poo the fact of sports athletes. They don't deserve that kind of praise, but they really influence kids. You know, to see someone of your race up there getting it done and be a star gives them the hope and the dreams. And at the end of the movie, I think they allude to one of the kids grows up to be in the major leagues too, right? He's inspired.
He does, yeah.
Opens the door, and now it's like it is what it is today, right? So those are nice touches.
Yeah, it's a good moment in history, and it's a bad reminder of history. That's what I would say about this movie. You know, it's
sometimes Canadians can be guilty of saying, "Oh, that was an American thing," but you know, honestly, we had our own problems.
We did it. Yeah.
We had our own growing pains, shall we say?
Oh, everybody's got their history to deal with, and you know, just be honest about it. And we need movies like this to just document the fact that, this did happen, but do it in an entertaining way, you know, and give it the justice it deserves, right? Don't do a shitty version of it.
Don't do a half-assed job. When you're dealing with such important material, you got to do it right. You know? And you know, to bring in the Canadian thing is that what I'm waiting for is that now we don't have doesn't have a Hollywood, so. But you know, I'd like to see
Hollywood North.
Well, we got Hollywood. Okay, fine. Then I would like to see that we start dealing with the Aboriginal stuff because the way the blacks have been treated in the United States is the way the Aboriginals have been treated here in Canada, right?
There's definitely parallels. You know what? I'm always often jealous of how Americans produce their own movies about their stories. They just do it, and there's many of them. They have the know-how and they get it done, right? And they do good jobs mostly, and they tell their history. And we don't have enough of that in Canada. We need more of that.
Yeah.
Tell our stories. We need to tell our stories.
Absolutely.
Do you guys like baseball? Generally.
In general, no. I mean, in general, I
no.
Sorry. Yeah. It's not my favorite sport. I was really into it when the Blue Jays were making it to the World Series there those couple of years. But
In the 90s? Yeah.
yeah,
When
that was exciting times.
we
you
won
know?
2 back-to-back pennants in 92, 93, I think.
Yeah,
But
that
by
was.
Canada, because we don't live in Toronto.
We don't live in Toronto, no. But
and,
I mean,
and we did have the Montreal Expos for a period, and we lost them.
Yeah.
And fun fact.
Oh, the Expos don't exist anymore.
No.
See, this is news. That's how much I know about
touch
baseball.
your. That was a long story, man.
Oh man,
So,
wow.
So, and the parallel is Jackie Robinson's farm team, or I guess he's sent down to the minors or whatever system. He plays on the Montreal team.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
He gets brought into the top Major League Baseball level for Brooklyn Dodgers, who eventually become Los Angeles. Dodgers.
Yeah.
Now, the team Montreal that's not. He wasn't up in Canada.
I think he did have to be in Canada.
I imagine he would have been. Yeah.
He played on his team, and then he got brought into the organization and spring training camps, right? So they're playing down in Florida for a bit of it.
I thought it was just another city that happened to be called Montreal.
No, they would have had some kind of team, just like the Winnipeg Jets have their farm team now is in Winnipeg. They used to be somewhere else on the East Coast. But what was my point there?
Okay, well, you don't have to. Okay, go ahead.
Well, just basically, we only get to see one or a couple seasons of his life, a short window of Jackie's life. And at the end of the movie, they do a little, they give us some more background or some, but yeah, we only get to see 1 year basically of his professional career as at that top level.
Well, you know what was funny in this movie? As little as I know about baseball, is my dad, my old man is not a big sports fan, but his biggest thing that he watches is baseball. That's his. As a child, that was his big thing. And watching this movie, I knew that when he was on the Brooklyn Dodgers, I knew they weren't going to win the World Series. Because my dad I actually have bought him retro T-shirts off of eBay and got like their legitimate Brooklyn Dodgers thing of the first time the Brooklyn Dodgers won the World Series, right? Yeah. This was a sports moment in my dad's life, probably the biggest sports moment in my dad's life as a child, right? And the Brooklyn Dodgers, so I knew watching this that when they were going into heading up that postseason stuff, I thought, well, they're not going to go all the way to the World Series because I just know, that they would. But
you'd think they'd let us see his triumphs too. More. They just wanted to focus on that first season, I guess, to end the movie.
Yeah, that 1 year. Yeah,
and
that 1 year. Yeah,
it's kind of that's how they went with it, right?
But that was the important year in history, right? So was this movie about?
I think that was smart.
Or was it about history, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's more about history. Baseball was a vehicle for the history.
Yeah, it's good to focus on that moment. That's what was important. Yeah. So you know what's curious? I'd like to know the number of black and other races that are allowed into the Major League Baseball the next year after seeing the success of Jackie. Because if you want to win, you gotta get on board. Because the gates must have just opened up.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
But they still, even in the first season that Jackie was playing, like even their organization tried to tell Ranch Ricky, hey, do you want to just not play your player? It's like, in other words, don't cause me any trouble with my fans in the ballpark.
Yeah, unbelievable.
With the owners, like the owners had to have that kind of talk.
Yeah, and
I know.
That hotel owner too.
Yeah, there's
it's like
you're not staying here.
You're not staying. Your whole team is not staying here.
Yeah, it was that deep.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the things that you watch that and you just give your head a shake. I can't believe this shit actually was like that. Like, this was civilized society. These are people, and this is how they acted, calling themselves a civilized society. I mean, it's just, wow. Like, it just blows your mind that, I guess we all know that, but it's just when you see it actually in a movie and presented right in your face like that, it's just, you go, fuck me, like, unreal. That's wow.
And these, definitely these movies need to be told and the stories have to be told. Like, there's a lot of current stuff going on in America with respect to the policing and the Black Lives Matter, and so there's going to be a lot more movies like coming out down the road.
Yeah,
I think so. Now,
Story continues, unfortunately, right?
we end up talking a lot more about human rights than we did about the movie. But maybe
Sure.
these trivia points will
Yes.
inspire some more conversation. In 1997, baseball commissioner Bud Selig, universally retired Jackie Robinson number.
Yep.
42. The handful of players still wearing the number were allowed to keep it. As of the film's release, only Mariano Rivera of the New York Yankees continued to wear 42 on a daily basis. Rivera retired at the end of 2013 season. As of 2014, barring special requests or approval, no major league player will ever wear 42 again.
And I think that's worthy. I mean, I think that's more worthy than the fact that Gretzky 99 is retired. Nobody ever can wear that.
Yeah.
I think this is more historical, more significant. What Gretzky was so good, but that's just numbers. That's just stats. Somebody could come along in theory and beat him. Why is his number retired? This is historical. This is significant.
Yeah, nobody can ever do this again, right?
Nobody can ever do this again. Exactly. And so, it should be retired. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the number is very important to an athlete, right? Because they wear that number in most cases through their whole career, right? Coming up into this whatever sport, the number is very important. So it's
respect. It's respect. I mean, you retire that number in respect.
Yep.
Should I read the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Pee Wee Reese's line that someday all Dodger players might be wearing the number 42 was actually said by Dodgers outfielder Gene Hermansky in 1951. Brian Helgeland liked the quote so much he had Reese say it because he is a central character. Since 2004, every April 15th has been Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball, and every player wears number 42. Robinson's first day in the Major League was April 15th, 1947.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome.
I think, I think it's well-deserved, and I hope this never stops. And that, if we're alive 1,000 years from now, this is still going on, and we're still playing baseball. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Yeah. It's a nice thing. Honor the player every year.
Yeah.
Sure.
4 players from the 1947 Brooklyn Dodgers were still alive when this film came out. Tommy Brown, Ralph Branca, Marv Rackley, and Don Lund.
I wonder if they went to go see the movie.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, they must be really old though. I mean,
yeah, they were in their prime in 1947, which means
that's a long time. They'd be in their
long time.
80s, 90s.
Well, that was 73 years ago.
Yeah,
they were in their prime.
They'd be in their 20s to 30s, right? Back when they were athletes.
Yeah, so they're in their 90s to their 90s. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
They probably, if you showed them this film, they're like, "What did he say?" Yeah. Okay, I'm making fun of old.
Yeah. Way to be ageist.
That's ageist.
I'm an ageist.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to review Grumpy Old Men. That's coming.
Yeah.
All right. So Alan Tudyk claimed that he and Chadwick Boseman deliberately avoided fraternizing while filming their scenes together to better convey the animosity between them.
Yeah.
So
right. It's hard to hang out and have beers and having fun, good chats, and then I've heard, assholes. Yeah.
I've heard this kind of method acting where actors don't talk with each other between takes. They just do it all on screen. They just make sure that like their character remains the same. I guess.
Yeah. Well,
at some point,
whatever helps, right? Whatever, if it works for them,
yeah,
and it doesn't hurt anybody else. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
But honestly, in hindsight, I think any opportunity to get to know Chadwick Boseman better would have been a good investment of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't long for this world after that, and it's sad to say that.
What, he passed away?
Yeah. Just recently, he passed away.
Why did I not know this? And what?
I don't
How?
know.
I don't know. There was a big uproar about Black Panther a couple months back.
Yeah,
Anyway, Chadwick Boseman played Black Panther.
that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So
And he passed away from colon cancer, but he kept it quiet, hidden from his co-workers, everybody. For 4 years, he battled cancer, and he went on to do other roles. In Black Panther, he played. He did the biopic of James Brown, and some other. Yeah, another movie of historical figures. And for 4 years before he died, he kept it a secret, kept it to himself.
Because he probably wouldn't have got the part if he didn't keep it a secret.
I don't know. He didn't. He thought, I guess, he could carry on, and he did all those movies, and it's amazing. Everybody's shocked, absolutely shocked, right?
Wow.
Even the people working with him day to day, and so he was going through treatment. I don't know how else. It's
Colon cancer, though, that seems like an old man's disease, doesn't it? Like, I mean,
he died at 43. It's not necessarily,
that's ageist.
yeah. Well, clearly I've established myself as an ageist.
So
you find humor about this.
from what I heard, Disney knew about the sickness.
Oh,
okay. All right.
And they went ahead with the movie anyway. But in terms of socially, I'm pretty sure he kept it to his family and himself and maybe his agent. I don't know. He played with the cards very close to his chest. Poor guy,
It's a very, very tragic situation, and so that's why I wanted to pick one of his movies just in honor of him.
Sure.
And
absolutely,
that was one I've been wanting to see for a while, anyways.
That's awesome. Well, and what a legacy. I mean, he's left a great legacy.
Yep.
What a legacy! What a guy!
Well, now wait a second. Black Panther. Now that's there's also not controversy, but that's also a monumental moment as a black man playing the first superhero black man, right? Like there was a lot of hoopla about that. Am I wrong, or
no? You're not wrong. There was a big. The whole movie takes place in Africa. It takes place almost everybody in the movie is black. And the music was made by it's very classical African, and it's good stuff.
So
it was a box office smash, and is one of the biggest making money movies of all time. And yeah, it's about time, right? It was directed.
He really does have quite a legacy then. I mean,
he does, and that's why it's so sad, right? Because
Yeah.
you knew there was going to be a Black Panther 2, 3, who knows?
I feel like such a white man now, right? I'm just discovering all this stuff, and if there's anyone that's black and watching me, they're going, "Oh my God, this guy's just figuring this out now." I mean, this is probably old news, right?
You've been in the backyard too long. You should come in and plug into the internet.
I'm a Canadian white guy, ignorant.
As much as I would like to think that I have my fingers on the pulse of Hollywood and being woke and all the rest of it, I do realize that I might not be the best person to be talking about Chadwick Boseman and his accomplishments as a person, and 42 and Black Panther and all the rest of it. But we're just trying to do the best we can, and we're trying to.
This is our take.
This is our take.
As pathetic as it is, and
I think we're all just shocked and saddened by the loss of a great actor that had a lot left to give, lot left to be seen, right? And it's sad.
I'm gonna wrap it up real quick because we have less than a minute.
Sure.
My name is Steve. I'm here with
Phil,
John.
Check out primerthecritical.com. We got all our podcasts there ready for you to peruse at your leisure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.